Hello, folks. I hope you're doing all right. Welcome to Stay Well with Dr. Zorba Pastor.
That's me. Bum, bum. Da 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 da. Ba 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 ba. Da 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 da. You're the orchestra leader. You're doing it exactly.
Conduct Zorba there, listeners. My hands almost hit the microphone doing
almost
all the
hit the microphone, but didn't.
They
because,
didn't.
Yeah.
Because I'm a professional.
That's right.
Kinda. I am Karl Christensen. I'm sitting across the desk from the one and only Dr. Zorba Pastor.
The infamous
one.
Dr. Zorba Pastor.
That's right. He is right here, believe it or not, and he is also taking singing lessons still.
I am taking singing lessons. That's right. Well, I decided it's important, as you get older, and I am an old guy. I'll be 79 on August 19th.
That's
an
not
old
that
guy.
old.
Yes. Well, when you're 80 and you're a young, for 80-year-olds, they can say you're a young guy, but it has to get higher and
80's
higher.
the new 60,
That's
right?
That's right. But I think you have to protect your voice. A lot of things. We think about aerobic exercise, important. We think about keeping your joints supple. So you want to do stretches. We think about balance is important. Nobody pays attention to their voice. I mean, we just don't do it. So, if you scream at a game all day long, you go to like the Packers, you scream, your voice doesn't work well. That evening, it has to recover. The real question is, what can we do for our voice to keep it vibrant and active? And I don't have an answer to that, but I wondered about that. So I decided who you go to. Well, I don't need a speech teacher. I mean, I speak pretty clearly most of the time, and no teacher's going to help me speak clearer. It's usually something I say that's dumb. It's not speech related. But I'm going to a voice teacher. And so I decided I would learn how to sing. So the other day,
so tell the listeners, maybe some listeners who saw the Facebook page, there was a video we posted.
That's right. And it was your band.
Yep.
And what's the name of the band?
We can leave the name. We could probably leave the name out of this. I don't want to shamelessly plug my band.
Can't say the word. Ending. You look it up, you'll see the name of the band.
We were playing a show on the University Terrace on the lake.
And Penny died almost 3 years ago, and I have somebody I'm dating. And so I thought, we're in the back of the Student Union, University of Wisconsin, overlooking Lake Mendota.
Beautiful.
A 10 out of
Sunset.
a 10 day.
Oh, it's perfect.
The sun is setting. The weather is perfect. There are a good 1,000 people or more in there.
Good crowd.
And we had a good crowd. And I ended up sort of sneaking up there from my lady friend, my girlfriend, mi amore. And I had friends at the table. She had no idea. And I walk up there, get this, sunglasses, a blue lame jacket that I got from Ben Sidran when he was going to go on and introduce the Temptations when they came to the UW about 5 years ago. Bell bottoms I got from London, cowboy boots. I was already decked out. And then I sang Blue Moon and sang the whole song. I got up there and it was really kind of fun. I didn't have stage fright because I speak a lot, but it was still a little bit different to be on there singing.
Yeah, you've never sung with a band live before.
Never. Yeah. I don't sing.
Yeah.
And so I sent it when it was all done to my kids. And they also, there's something else. So my friend Dan videotaped it. He also videotaped me dancing with mi amore, Deirdre, who is a very good dancer. And the kids looked at this song. He said, "Oh, it's wonderful. You didn't tell us. You got up there. You were great, but I can't believe when you were dancing, you were actually dancing to the beat." So they were more impressed with the dancing than the singing. They knew who I am. So my going up on stage and singing was, well, that's what Dad does. But actually dancing was like...
That's what impressed them, the dancing.
Your
rhythm.
It was the fact that I had rhythm. But rhythm was part of what I'm trying to build up with singing lessons.
Sure.
And once again, those things are more likely to keep you vibrant. But there's another issue here. I think in life, for health, you're either expanding or contracting all the time. So first of all, if you don't know if you're expanding or contracting, you're more likely contracting. And you think you're actually there, but the world is moving around. And that happens, for instance, if you don't embrace your smartphone and learn how to use it. Everyone can learn how to use it minimally, not maximally. But if you don't embrace it, you're going to lose something. So you should go to YouTube, look at your smartphone, learn a couple of things. You'll feel better. It makes your brain feel better, and you are actually better. So you should go outside of your comfort zone and learn something. Kids do it all the time. Young people do it all the time. Parents do it all the time. When we get to a certain age, we don't do it. And then those people, as you look at them, and I have a lot of people who I know in their 70s or in their 80s, they begin to contract and they start to do less and less, and then they start to think they can do less and less, and then that produces less and less, and before you know it, they're sitting in front of the tube scrolling, looking at cat videos, which really is not very much fun.
Yeah.
So you've got to figure out what your comfort zone is and do it. And I think part of that is multi-generational. You should not surround yourself just about people your own age. If you're 40 and you don't see people in their 20s or in their 60s, you're going to miss something. And definitely if you're late 70s, if you're not interacting with people 20 and 30 years younger than you don't get the vibe that they have. And they have a different vibe. And you had a different vibe 20 years younger. So anyway, I got a different vibe with the band.
You had fun playing with us.
Oh,
It
it was a blast.
It was great having you.
I never sang with the band because it didn't work out. And when I was up there singing with the band and surrounded by the music, and I looked around, I was in a different zone. And I have to tell you, it was so much fun. Absolutely.
And you posted it to Facebook, and if people want to see it, we'll repost it, and you can check out the video.
Yeah. I posted it to Facebook. So.
Yeah.
And then I sent it to 100 of my closest friends.
Just your closest 100.
But I just when I was mourning Penny's death, I did write down a list of people I could call because that was important to me. People I may have not talked to in 10 years or 5 years, but I was close with. And it made me realize that I'm blessed to have social connectedness. So I actually sent it to all of them, and I got great comments, including one from my old college friend, Andre DeShields. So he's the Tony Award-winning actor for Hadestown.
It's a big deal.
I sent it to him. He looked at it, and he said, "A star is born."
Nice. It's high praise. Okay, we got to get to the show. What are we going to talk about in the show here?
That was part of the show. That was the philosophical part of the show.
This is the show.
That's
right. The show's happening.
Right.
We're going to talk about...
Shows happen. Your brain works in strange and unusual ways.
Sorry.
Comedy. It's not tragedy. It's comedy,
not.
Karl.
Yeah, thank you. I'll try to be more serious. Today...
It's not possible.
It's not. We're going to talk about the drop in birth rates and how it might be linked
Very interesting
to
stuff.
the advent of the smartphone.
Totally.
Interesting. Zorba's going to help out a caller. We're going to get to, of course, some of your listener emails. And we're going to hear from my mom, who is still churning out mom jokes, believe it or not.
Mom jokes.
See? Your singing lessons help that a lot. Phone number to call anytime if you have a question for the good doc. It's 608-492-9292.
And email me at askdrzorba@gmail.com. We'd love to answer those emails. Askdrzorba@gmail.com.
All right, let's jump right in here, Zorba. There's new research out that pinpoints a drop in U.S. birth rates to when the iPhone was first released. So I'm going to start with a weird question for you, Zorba. Are folks having sex less because they're too distracted on their phones?
You mean, would they rather use their phones than have sex? Now, that's the right way to put it. They're not distracted. Hi, honey. Let's have intimacy tonight. And they're going, after I do my puzzles, look at my cat
Sudoku,
videos
hang
and all
on a
the other
second.
stuff. Yeah, that's probably one
That's
of the
what's
factors. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. There are a lot of reasons behind the drop in birth rate, and we don't really understand them. I read a recent article in the Wall Street Journal about all the different possibilities around the world, and there's not a full understanding. There are lots of things, but yes, there was a dramatic drop in that. Now, before we do this, I want to remind you, in the great New Yorker blackout, it was in the 1960s, when the whole city was blacked out for, I don't know if it was 3 to 5 days. I mean, I don't look things up when we're on the show, but it was quite some time. There was a bump in the birth rate.
Really?
When there was a definite.
There's nothing else to do but
the
just
number of kids,
have
9
sex.
months, 270 days later, was definitely in a bell-shaped curve, definitely bumped up around there. So when people weren't watching television, they were doing what they did in the old days before there was electricity. They were having sex. I mean, or they were trying to have sex or something like that.
In the dark.
But in the dark. There was no, but that's what they did. But this is really interesting. So this article, women in their 20s who lived in countries that had AT&T coverage. So that's where the iPhone at the beginning only was on the AT&T system.
Okay.
So they were more readily available on iPhones. The birth rates decreased literally about 15% between 2007 and 2011 when the iPhone was introduced. And the birth rates for women in their 20s with no coverage decreased. They still decrease because there's a decrease somewhere around 8 to 10%. So in other words, 5%, 1 out of 20 fewer births were due to the iPhone. You could say that. Now, that may be the case. You know, there's a lot of issues also in this day and age with men who are not engaging. Men and women, young people, are not engaging in contemporaneous discussions face-to-face.
Sure.
They're doing it by text, contemporaneous discussions. And then they wonder why they're still single. Mm-hmm. Duh.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the first rule on a date should be put your phone away.
Right.
You know, but people say, you know, they get a text in the middle of it and they stop looking at the person and look at the phone. What does that do to romance?
Right.
It says, I care about my phone more than you. Well, obviously that does something for sex about couples who either want to have kids or don't want to have kids or whatever, because there's a drop in the birth rate. This is kind of one of the unforeseen consequences of technology. Mm-hmm. You know, the fact that it can make a difference overall in the country. And there are more and more people who decide to make a decision that they don't want to have a child. So I recently went to my 60th. It's hard for me to say it. High school
It came
reunion.
out slowly.
The big one was the 50th, but this was a small one that was the 60th reason. And one of the people I knew quite well had an interesting life. She was a PhD, and then she was working with some medical students, and she said, gosh, they're not as smart as I am. So then she decided to go to medical school and become a doctor, you know, after she got a PhD in something with biology. I don't remember. But when I talked to her, she said, I don't have any children by choice.
Okay.
And it was interesting because I thought she's probably asked, oh, did you want to have children? Or people wonder if you want to have children. And I do that when people say to me, if I ask, do they have kids? Well, what do you do if you ask people, do you have any kids? Do you ever do that?
I've done it less lately just because of this discussion.
Because it's embarrassing.
I mean, I don't know if it's embarrassing or if, I don't know. There's something here.
You may embarrass the person.
Not that it's embarrassing, though, to not have kids.
No, not at all. I mean, but it might be they wanted to have kids, they couldn't have kids, they had missed.
Maybe it's too personal of a question. I don't know. It depends on how well I know the person.
I find it a personal question.
You know,
even if I have somebody in the office who I don't know, you know, I will also to get to know them because I fill in at our group. I'll ask people if they're married or living with somebody. I get that, and then I might say, "Do you have any children?" Mm-hmm. And when they say no, I often move on to the discussion. Mm-hmm. In other words, that's the way I handle it.
Well, there's no reason to say why not. I mean, because
I would never say that.
Yeah.
But also, even I, as a physician, in a situation like that, feel like maybe that was the wrong question. But I ask personal questions. People come to me for value in the office, and by nature, you're always asking personal questions that your friends or relatives don't ask. Mm-hmm. You know, that's part of what you want to have when you go to a doctor's office. You want all the information that's there in front of you. Someone comes in with depression or with grieving, you want to find out whether or not they have a family to support them, you know, and then you ask them, and they might say divorce, and then that opens it up and say, was it acrimonious? Was it difficult? Is that part of the situation that's going on? Because that would lead me to answer it. This is a long way of saying that contemporaneous information is very important in human relations. The smartphone is dumb. It makes us dumb. We don't look at people. And then why does it take away the desire to have relations? That's what we say in medicine.
Yeah.
Sometimes
relations.
We use the word sex. Well, everyone knows it's a moniker.
Right.
You know, do you have relations with your ex or with your husband or other things? But why would something like a phone take away your desire for sex.
Is it the dopamine
in the 20s.
hit you're getting from
That's a good
certain
question.
things on
so
the
in
phone?
In other words, does the phone give you an orgasm?
A mini one. Just in your brain.
I mean, it's kind of weird. I mean, really. I mean, these are people in their 20s. We're not looking at people who may be, beyond they're older. Let's just say they're
Right.
older. Intimacy changes as you get older. But usually people in their 20s are looking for intimacy, but are they looking for a better score on Wordle? Is Wordle more important than intimacy, or checking in with their friends to see what they got on Wordle,
Right.
or
social media,
or social media?
all
That's
the things.
that's a strange society situation, which frankly is not good for society.
If you have a question for the good doc, you can call this number anytime. 608-492-9292.
Or you can email me at askdrzorba@gmail.com. Spell it out, askdrzorba@gmail.com. And everything that you would want to know about our podcast is on the website, drzorba.org. Dr. Zorba, spell out the word doctor, drzorba.org. I could say that in my sleep.
You
I
did.
think so.
Yeah.
I did.
You did.
I am
Just-
asleep.
you're
I'm
asleep
actually
right now. You're
awake.
awake. You're awake.
I am actually awake.
I'm glad you're awake because we're going to use our phone, our hotline right now. And we're going to try to help out a caller from West Palm Beach, Florida. Hi.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zorba, for taking my call.
Sure.
I'm a longtime listener, and
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. I appreciate all of your information, and I need to get some feedback from you from your long experience in medicine, specifically focusing on toenail fungus.
Uh-huh.
I have identified about 6 years ago, a problem with my large toe on my left foot. This was about maybe 5 or 6 years ago. About 2 years ago, I started visiting a podiatrist, and she prescribed some topical treatments, which seemed to improve but did not solve the problem. I'm currently taking, for a 3-month round, she didn't want to do it any more than 3 months, something called Lamisil, I believe it is.
Right.
Taken inside. She wanted to make sure my liver enzymes were good, and I think that's why she doesn't want to leave it too many months. But she also said that Medicare Medicare does not cover. There's a light treatment that she had recommended, but it's like $1,000. I'm not sure how many treatments. I spoke to another doctor who would give me 3 treatments for $500. But I was wondering, do you think, because Medicare usually doesn't cover things they consider to be experimental. So what do you think? I mean, in your clinical experience, do you think it's worth ponying up the money? Because the problem is toenail fungus, it's so slow, It's
Right.
It's tiny increments.
Yeah. So first of all, I know a lot about toenail fungus because I happen to have toenail fungus.
Oh.
You didn't know that, did you?
Breaking news.
I had
no idea.
Breaking news. Yeah. I don't take off my socks here. If you look, we've known each other a long time, but really.
I've never seen your toenails.
There's no intimacy involved. But I got it often comes from trauma. Were you a soccer player when you were younger?
Oh, no. I'm the opposite. Actually, no athletic and nothing. No.
So my toenail fungus actually is when I drop something on my toe, bang the toe, didn't fracture it. But basically, the fungi are always around us. And once they begin to enter the nail, it's tough to get rid of it. So Lamisil is the drug of choice. And you take it, and you give it in a 12-week period. In other words, that's actually what it is. You don't give it beyond 12 weeks. And the first thing I would do with this, the first thing that your podiatrist did, it gave you a topical antifungal. Was this something you painted on your nails every day?
Yes, exactly. And she was charging me a lot of money for something I bought in her office. But when I looked at the percentage and the name of the drug, I went to an over-counter medication at my local pharmacy, and it had exactly the same percentage of the medicine. It was like $12 as opposed to $80. So when I ran out of that, I continued to do that.
And then it kind of rings a bell. She's charging me $80 when I can get it for $12. It has to go into consideration. So, number one, that didn't work. They only work about, the topical works maybe 65% of the time. Lamisil, which is a very good drug, well tolerated, works about 80% of the time, not 100%, 80%. So the first thing you do with oral Lamisil is if it doesn't work, you give it a month break, and then you do another 3 months. That's the typical regime. And then if that doesn't work, pretty much nothing is going to work. I mean, that's the reality. I would not spend the money on laser. It's not proven. Hasn't been proven in double-blind, placebo-controlled trials where they do a sham light and then they do, the antifungal light. And I think it's hooey. I don't think it does anything. Now, if you decide you want to pony up $1,000 or $2,000, move to Beverly Hills where you've got that extra money to pony up. But otherwise, I wouldn't do it. I think that it's not been proven, and therefore, if it's not been proven and it's expensive, and it's given by a podiatrist who is charging you $80 for a drug that you can buy over the nail polish, which you could buy over the counter for $12, it's not a good idea. Now, do you have a family doc, by the way?
Oh, yes, I do.
So you could also text your family doctor, when this is finished. If you don't want to go back to the podiatrist and get charged, you could, if she doesn't want to do a second course, I would text my family doctor and say, hey, I've heard 2 courses are better than 1, and I'd like to have it again, and I had liver function tests, and if you want to do it again, and your family doctor may prescribe it, or you may have to go in and get it. But I think you should have 2 cycles. And if that doesn't work, then the other option is nail polish.
I've seen that.
Just regular nail polish covered up won't bother you. It doesn't actually, it can cause a thickening of the nail. And in cases like that, you do need somebody to use a Dremel, basically, to sort of thin it out. And that is an issue. Now, I'll tell you my personal study. I go to the beauty shop where I get my hair done.
This doesn't sound like a double-blind
in Oregon,
test, placebo.
Nothing.
Okay.
And there is a young woman there who happened to grow up with my daughter. Very nice person. They played on the same soccer team, and she does hair and she does nails, and that costs I think it cost me $35 for a treatment. She takes a file and she puts it down with a file. It's not anything electric, and it feels good. And then I get to pick the polish of my choice. And when I come out, I feel really pretty good. So you don't have to go to a podiatrist to actually get it whittled down. You can go to a nail place. And in Florida, I think you can't go more than 1 or 2 blocks away on a commercial strip without finding somebody who does nails, right?
Oh no, absolutely. There's a nail shop right outside the gateway of our condo community. I could probably walk from my house.
That's what I would do. I would finish your Lamisil. If your podiatrist doesn't want to give you another one or wants to charge you to come in and then give you another one, get rid of the laser. Go to the nail place near your house, and then think about how you want to what color you want to have on your nails. And people, and instead of people going ooh, they'll go ah.
Good point. Yes.
So thanks for calling. Thanks for joining our podcast community. It really means a lot. We're up to nearly 100,000 people, and that's really great. And once again, we're doing this. I'm doing this. Karl and I are doing this to really spread good information, that is scientifically based versus politically based.
Absolutely, yes, and that's why I appreciate it. I listened to you when you were on the radio. I listened to you on the podcast, and so now I've switched to the YouTube podcast. So I appreciate your continuing.
Well, thank you so much. And listen, have a good time, and let us know what happens if it goes away after the second treatment. If the first one does not, so you take care now.
Okay, thank you so much for your information. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You take care now.
Bye.
Thanks so much for that call at 608-492-9292.
And you can email me at askdrzorba@gmail.com. I love answering those emails. AskDrZorba, spell it out, @gmail.com, or come to the website, drzorba.org.
Okay, Zorba, let's take a listener email now. The following message came from Elizabeth in Janesville, Wisconsin, who writes, Hello, Dr. Zorba and Karl. My husband and I have listened to you for some time now, and we always enjoy listening.
Thank you.
So we love it when a new podcast episode drops.
Cool.
My question is this. I've been going through AFib, atrial fibrillation, for about 2 years now. It usually occurs once a month and can last for about 10 hours or so.
Oh.
My doctor has ordered a heart ablation. I would like you to explain AFib and what a heart ablation entails. I also have a lower heart rate and wondered if the ablation can help with that. Keep up all you do, especially the mom jokes. That's nice. Thanks, Elizabeth. We will keep doing the mom jokes.
We will. That's right.
Yep,
That's right. The mom jokes.
Yep, exactly.
So atrial fibrillation, your regular heart goes like this: lub-dub, 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 lub-dub. In atrial fib, it's an erratic heartbeat. Lub-dub, 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 lub. Lub dub lub dub dub dub. In other words,
Is it pretty random, or is it?
it's an irregularly irregular heartbeat.
Okay.
Irregularly irregular.
hard
If you want to
word.
listen to it, go to YouTube, say play AFib, and you can hear it. And what happens is the heart. These are extraneous impulses that come from the pulmonary artery near that part of the heart. We don't know why. And they go on I call it a superhighway, and they hit the heart before something called the SA node and the AV node can do their normal things. So sometimes the heart fills up with blood, but if it doesn't give it enough time, it doesn't fill up with blood. And so you lose 10 to 20% of your cardiac output. And that's a drag.
That's
Doesn't feel
significant,
good.
yeah.
That's it. That's significant. You can become short of breath. Some people, if the rate is too fast, go into heart failure. If the rate can go up, your regular rate can go up to 150, you go into heart failure. You have to be on meds to slow it down. It leads to stroke. It leads to stroke because you've got two atrium, two ventricles in the heart. And off of the left atrium where this occurs, there's something called the left atrial appendage. And think of it as a little closet off that atrium that it must have some evolutionary meaning or it doesn't. And sometimes if the blood sloshes around there but not enough, it'll form a little clot, tiny little clot. It may happen once out of 1,000, once out of 10,000, one out of 100,000, one out of 500,000 beats. But then that little clot goes out into the aorta and then it lodges at the smallest vessel it can, which often is the brain. And you get a stroke. Mini stroke, big stroke. Doesn't matter. Stroke is a stroke. So the risk of stroke with AFib goes up depending on your age. We'll say the risk for a 65-year-old, we'll say, might be at that age, might be, we'll say, 2.5% a year might get a stroke, or 1.5% a year. With AFib, it would go up to 4%.
Okay.
So you're put on a blood thinner. That has its own problems. So enter the new world of ablation. So with ablation, which has been around for 20 years, the first kind of ablation was heat ablation. Go in, burn that part of the heart. Really worked well, but there can be side effects. It can burn through the esophagus because it's right near there, or it can destroy too much of the heart. So the second part, new technology, was cold ablation. Once again, you're destroying the heart, but in a more controlled way. You don't destroy that much, but you have to destroy the tissue that this superhighway is. The new ablation, which has been around for, 3 years, maybe 4 years, but is very new, is called pulsed frequency ablation, PFA. So here's how it works. You know how if you pluck a guitar string, makes a vibration or a sound.
Sure.
And if there's another guitar string that's nearby in the same way, if you listen carefully, that also...
Right, that vibrates.
That vibrates too. So there is a vibration, apparently. The cells that produce these extra impulses vibrate differently from the normal heart cells. And so the pulsed frequency ablation is an electrical current, but it only affects those cells that are producing the extra signals to produce atrial fib. It makes the procedure, which normally takes 4 hours, the anesthesia, take about 2 hours, 1.5 to 2 hours. Doesn't destroy as much of the heart. It has. They had to prove it was non-inferior. They had to prove it was as good as the other ones. It's made by Boston Scientific. Go and buy some stock in there. You want to, because I think it's great.
Okay.
I don't own any stock. I just
We're
thought
getting
I'd
stock
mention
tips
it.
from Zorba
Stock
now.
tips, that's right. Yeah. But anyway, It's a better type of ablation because it is safer. It doesn't destroy as much of the heart, and it appears to be more effective. Once you do that, the AFib goes away. 1 year later, you can go off your blood thinners, and life goes on.
That was a really good explanation of AFib and ablations.
Well, it's complex, and it's
technology.
common. It turns out to be more common than we thought. And we think that much of the stroke in America, if you look at death rates in America, it's heart disease, and then cancer and stroke vie for number 2, depending on the year.
Yeah.
So part of stroke is due to hypertension, untreated hypertension, big part of stroke. But the other part of stroke is untreated AFib, because some people don't know that they have AFib. They have no symptoms, and they're not on a blood thinner or something for rate control. And so this is a great step forward. Karl,
Tell me, Zorba.
you know how much I love coffee.
Oh, you
right?
love coffee.
Years ago, I tried Just Coffee Co-op's Bike Fuel.
Bike fuel.
Medium roast coffee, and I was smitten. It's fair trade organic coffee. I bought it, and I am hooked.
You're still drinking it today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Just Coffee Cooperative. It's a worker-owned, fair trade, and organic coffee roasting co-op in Madison, Wisconsin, and they're dedicated to a model of commerce based on transparency, respect for labor, and environmental sustainability.
That's right, Karl. No flavors, no additives, just coffee. And guess what, listeners? If you use the code ZORBA10, you'll get 10% off your entire order on their website, www.justcoffee.coop. Just Coffee Cooperative. Justice from the grounds up.
Have a healthy living question for Zorba? Just post it on our Facebook page. You can email askdrzorba@gmail.com, or you can call us.
That's right.
Call
Anytime,
us. Anytime.
anywhere.
Leave us a voicemail if you want.
608-492-9292. 608-492-9292. And by the way, 9292. 492-9292.
There it is.
And if you don't like science, don't listen to the podcast, because we are scientifically based. So if you don't like science, listen to a different podcast that is not scientifically based. Maybe one by R.F. Kennedy Jr.
Okay.
Maybe he does.
He doesn't have a
Maybe he
podcast, does
Yeah.
he? Maybe he does.
I don't know if
I
he
don't
has a
think he does.
podcast,
No.
but he's not scientifically based.
Right.
Well, some things are okay. Getting rid of ultra-processed foods in our society is a good idea. But I'll give you a good example of one of the things he did that has unforeseen consequences. It's a good idea. Grocery stores are going, in order to be able to get SNAP, use SNAP, which is what we call food stamps for your food. They're going to have a certain amount of fruits and vegetables. That's good. So people can then have those to choose. The problem is a lot of dollar stores and other stores in rural areas, they have fresh fruits and vegetables, but people don't buy them.
Okay.
So they have to be thrown out. So there are a number of stores that may have to get out of SNAP, so people won't be able to use SNAP in their local area because they're not carrying enough fruits and vegetables to meet the new guidelines.
Okay. So they didn't think this through.
Well, it's an unforeseen consequence. They have to begin to figure out a way to address that, because people with SNAP, you don't want them to have to go in their car when gas prices are so super high, 10 miles or 20 miles away to get some groceries. They want to go to their local store.
Sure.
But if their local store has to have more perishables and they have to pay for it, they're not going to carry it. So you have to think these things out. And I think you have to experiment. I mean, I like the idea that you have to have fresh fruits and vegetables. I don't think you should put these stores off the hook, but you have to monitor, and they don't have that in place yet, how they actually look at it. And maybe instead of having X amount of fruits and vegetables, maybe in some areas they have to have 1/2X number of fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
In other words, you can actually do this. So some of the ideas are good, but they're not thought out well.
Let's lighten it up a little bit here with one of my mom's jokes. Listeners, you know this by now. My mom writes jokes. I recorded her telling them. It's time for mom jokes.
Mom jokes.
Escape artists of the world, untie.
I like that one.
Do you get that one?
Yeah, I get
Okay.
that one completely. I like
That
it.
Karl Marx,
I like it.
workers of the
I
world
like
unite.
That's right, untie. I like that.
Okay. I hate to say this, but my mom, I think she just piped in and called me, and I think she's running low on jokes. So I wanted to put a call out to our listeners right now.
For mom jokes?
For mom jokes.
Can they do dad jokes too?
Dad jokes, mom jokes, and we heard kid jokes, a few weeks ago.
Who's going to record them?
They can record them. They can send an email.
It'd be great.
We could record. How about this? Speaking of not well thought out here.
Yeah, go
I don't
ahead.
think I've thought this
Think
one
it out loud. Go
How
for
about
it.
this, listeners? If you have a good joke, just email it to askdrzorba@gmail.com or call the number, and if you want to leave the joke as a voicemail, we'll play your joke.
I
How
love
about
it.
that? Does that sound good?
608-492-9292. Yes, you can be on my famous podcast
And
record your own mom or dad joke.
Mom or
Yes.
dad joke or kid joke
That's right.
or dog joke.
Or
if you have
dog
a
joke.
dog who can...
I don't think dog jokes are good, but I don't think the dogs are good at saying their jokes.
That's the hurdle you
Not
got
their,
to overcome.
That's not their sweet spot. Woof, 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 woof. We wouldn't get it, right? Unless you're a dog.
Exactly.
But the dogs would get it.
They love it. They're howling with laughter.
It's one dog to another telling a joke. Maybe that's why they bark at each other.
They're just telling jokes all the time?
Maybe they're just telling jokes, and that's why they bark more. And we think they're like arguing. No,
Right.
that's how dogs tell jokes.
It's just all jokes.
We're going down the wrong path.
We are.
aren't
Let's bring it back here. Let's do... Okay, this is a few episodes ago, we were talking about how we eat our dinner. And we were talking about the order in which we eat, like a large dinner. I shared that sometimes if I have a plate full of different items, like around Thanksgiving, I will eat each portion until it's gone and then move on to the next portion. Do you remember talking about this at all?
Yes, I do.
Whereas you, Zorba,
I remember thinking, you're not an obsessive person.
No, I'm
though,
not
are you?
really. No.
No.
But for some reason,
I'm
like
looking
Thanksgiving...
I'm looking around our studio, and if you were an obsessive person, it wouldn't look like this.
Oh, are you saying it's messy or it's,
No, it's not
tidy?
messy.
Okay.
It's just not obsessive.
It's not obsessive.
No. I mean, look at that. Look at that wall. If you were obsessive, all of those would be all those sticky notes. He's
pointing to a whole wall full of Post-it notes that my daughter little
That's right.
drawings.
But if
cute
you're
little
obsessive,
drawings.
you would want them all. in
Right,
line.
they're all
so you're not
disorganized.
obsessive. No, I think you're pretty organized.
Thank you.
Fits my mode. You're welcome. Anytime.
Back to the eating of meals. You said you would zigzag around your plate, like a little bit of potatoes, a little bit of meat,
100%.
a little bit of veggies.
I do not eat in any order.
Gotcha.
Not.
I don't know what it is about that. Why I like to do that. Maybe it's because I don't want like the cranberry sauce running into the mashed potatoes. Or, it all starts to glop together, and I'm just trying to prevent that.
You're the only one who would know that answer.
And I just don't know
Let me
it.
assure you. Anyone who has said, I think it's this or I think it's that, I mean, they wouldn't know. It's a personal thing. But you know what? If it's you, go for it, man.
Okay. Well, where are we
Do you
going?
do it on a regular plate?
It's usually just a big like holiday meal, like a Christmas meal.
So not like
Thanksgiving.
when you have dinner tonight.
No,
You
I'll
don't eat one
zigzag
thing and then
around.
you'll zigzag
It's just these
around.
big holiday.
I don't even
formal...
think of it as zigzagging. I just
No?
eat the food on the plate.
Okay.
But I don't mix it all together.
I'm
That would be
overthinking this.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Mixing it all together
Well, it
in
all
one big
mixes in
thing.
your stomach together, right?
I don't care. I want to taste it separately. So, no, I don't think you're overthinking. I think
Okay.
you're just,
Where am I going with this, Zorba?
I don't know.
Listeners must
I
be
don't
wondering.
know.
Well,
I'm wondering too.
we got emails, we got Facebook, we got all kinds of things about this. So this is from a listener.
So people chimed in on this. Go for
Exactly.
it. Yeah.
This is from a listener who emailed, and she signed her email Old Lady. Old Lady writes, I'm a normal human. I eat a little of this and a little of that. Karl used to seem like a regular person. Now I have questions. Signed,
that.
Old Lady.
I like that.
Thanks, Old Lady. This one came from Katie, who wrote, I'm a zigzagger. There's nothing better than having a mouthful of salty mashed potatoes with gravy, followed by a savory bite of dark turkey meat.
Oh, totally.
And then the palate-cleansing sour of cranberry sauce.
Absolutely.
Yum.
I'm with her. I am totally 100% there.
You're the
Yeah,
zigzagger.
yes.
She continued, and I gotta read this part. I was a listener of the public radio show for years, and so incredibly grateful you decided to keep the show going
thank you.
as an independent podcast. Zorba and Tom were a great duo, but I also really love Zorba and Karl's chemistry and Karl's sense of humor, including his mom's jokes. Your show always makes me feel happier and less stressed while also learning something.
Thank you.
Good summary,
Thank
Katie.
you. That is very nice.
was very nice.
Very Compliments are always appreciated.
That's great. Do you have feedback or a compliment for Zorba? You can post on our Facebook page. You can call the show at 608-492-9292.
Or write me an email at askdrzorba@gmail.com. And remember, we've got a website, drzorba.org.
All right. What did we learn today, Zorba?
I'd like to know that.
Yeah, you already forgot it, what we talked about? I kind of did. I have a list here. So we talked about the drop in birth rate pinpointed to the advent of the iPhone.
Right, which I think really is a major part of it. You'd rather look at Wordle than have sex.
You helped out.
When I was 16 or 17 or 18 or in my 20s, it would never occur to me I would rather read the newspaper than have sex.
What has happened?
I'd rather do my crossword puzzle than have sex. I would be sent to the psychiatrist. Anyways,
what else did we learn? You helped out a caller with toenail fungus.
Yes.
We talked about AFib. We heard a mom joke.
Yes.
And we talked about zigzagging around your turkey plate or whatever you're eating. Anyways,
That's right.
What are we doing here, Zorba?
We are doing a great podcast. We are doing a show. Thank you for listening and stay well.